Sign up today.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good. Billy Ray, feeling good. Lewis, we're going to do something a little bit differently today, folks. I'd like to take a few seconds here, 15 seconds, a moment of silence for what happened in 2019, in 2001, 19 years ago. It was pretty bad. So let's take 15 seconds here to remember all those that have suffered and are still suffering. Okay, folks, my memories of that day are very vivid. I happened to be on the phone with Arch Crawford that morning when the first plane hit. And believe it or not, when the Pentagon was hit, Arch knew it 15 minutes before CNN had it. I mean, it was really it was really amazing that he knew what had happened. I mean, I was totally blown away. Those 8 days afterwards were just unbelievable here in Tucson because of our Air Force Base here, Davis-Monthan Air Force Base. We were shut down. I mean, you couldn't even buy gasoline. It was that tight. But the thing that was most spectacular was the stealth bomber was here, and it was amazing to see it fly over the city, folks. If you ever believed in extraterrestrials, that's one, because it is unbelievable if you ever get a chance to see it, because it just you can't believe something that majestic. I mean, it's just really some type of a machine. Okay, the other thing that I think was most important about the 9/11 from a perspective of travel, right after they started to have travel, you could fly to Las Vegas round trip for $25, and American Airlines was offering flights to Hawaii, $100 round trips. You could buy 5 of them. And my little grandson had just been born in August of 2000, and so he was just not even a year old yet. And so he was exactly a year old. And so we went over to, I bought 5 flights, so I could go back and forth to see him all the time, and it was amazing. And I stayed at the Sheraton Hotel for $62 a night in a suite that was usually $350. But my most memorable thing of that day was at about 6:30 in the morning, which was 2:30 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, Hawaii time. My daughter Jill called me up, and she was in a panic, and she said, "Dad," she says, "what's going on?" And I says, "What do you mean, honey?" I said, "There's some problems in New York," because we didn't know the extent of this yet. And she said, the MPs came and picked up Kevin and just barely let him take his clothes. He was still in his pajamas, and they said they'll have him back when he's finished. And that's all they told me. I don't know what's going on. And I told her what happened and turned on the news. And his job was to run GPS for Hickam Air Force Base and also Pearl Harbor. He ran the drones that were going over the they were GPS things, so they weren't drones at that time. But that's what he did, and he was gone for 2 weeks. She didn't see him for 2 weeks. She got to talk to him a few times, but he didn't leave that base for 2 weeks. But a lot of things I remember. But golly gee, what a terrible time in our lifetime. Hope we don't see that again, but we probably will. Who knows? Okay, let's move on to another thing. It's very, very important, folks. Next Wednesday, Basil Chapman is going to be giving a all-day seminar. And folks, believe it or not, listen, tell you the value that you get there. He's done 7 webinars this year, and you get access to all 7 of those webinars. That's a college education in itself. So if you get a chance to see Basil on Wednesday, I certainly hope you take advantage of it, because he's one smart guy and he's got great stuff. All good, in things that you can use, and I think it's very, very important. And then one other thing I wanted to cover today, I started teaching way back in 1986, and the second student that I ever had was Dr. Jim Elder out of Birmingham, Alabama. Dr. Jim's father was a commodity trader. He also knew Eli Tellis, and that's how I got to know Eli Tellis. He also studied under W.D. Gann. Jim's father went to Harvard. Jim's mother went to Harvard. Jim's sister went to Harvard, and Jim went to Harvard. He has two degrees. Actually, he has 3 degrees. He has a degree in dentistry. He has a degree in medicine. He has a further degree in pathology. He's what they call a pathologist, pathology guy, and he reads about 15,000 words a minute. And we've been friends for many, many years. And he came to California to the trading room so often that we thought he was a member of the family, which he really is. And his birthday was yesterday. He just turned 70. And folks, I was chatting with him on Skype. And when I saw him in his room there with his mask on, I asked him, I said, Jimmy, I said, why are you wearing a mask, in the house? And he's got a beautiful, big house there at Birmingham, and he said, this is really bad, Larry. He said, this virus is a lot worse than you might think it is. And Jim is one of the smartest guys that I know, folks. I mean, I've told you about Dennis Reagan, and Jim Elder is one of them. Al Larson is one. The Arrington boys are a couple others. There's probably a few others that I've missed along the way. But these guys they're in a different category. Anybody can read 15,000 words a minute and retain it all. That's the most amazing thing. But he was actually scared. I mean, he told me, he said that he's in that age group where he's 70 now, and so he's really taking it seriously. He wears his mask all the time except when he eats. He even sleeps with it. So he opened my eyes. Let's put it that way. So I take it a little bit serendipity, I guess, but that's not what I see. Anyway, I posted the chart here of the what we're calling it here, of the DAX and also the FTSE. So as we take a look at that, we'll have Stan Harley as our guest coming up at the break, which is good. We'll have him at 9:30 today. He always has some good stuff. And I don't have my mask on while I'm in the house. I do wear it when I go outside. The chief security officer here at Trade What You See reminds me to wear the mask at all times, and I do wear it when we're out in public, which is not often, so we'll see here. Okay, Mr. Z's got a special request today. The USDA issues a crop report. If and only does rally extension to reaction to my request. If you can, Basil Show, if you can come into Basil Show at 12:30 p.m. and share your chart projections for XS20. Yeah, I think I can do that at 12:30. Should be not too much of a problem if I can do that. I can do that before the report comes up, Z. I mean, that report ain't going to mean anything to me. I mean, I can do the report now because that's pretty much what's going to happen. So I'll be happy to do that. I'll do that after this first break here, and that's something that we probably ought to look at anyway. So that's not a problem because the reports mean nothing to me. I think we're in the midst of the end of the crop now, and they're going to be for harvesting it pretty soon. We'll be right back, folks.
If you're not currently using the profile when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're going to take a look here at soybeans. We got a big report today, and Mr. Z's asking where I think the top is. Don't know for sure. All I do remember is that way back in May, somebody named Mr. Z there in the den was talking about a bottom happening in the soybeans. You can see the beautiful 135 pattern that happened through that area right here. We were able to take a nice little piece of change out of the soybean oil in this, but you can see here that we are near highs that we haven't seen here for about 3 years. So we could go a whole lot higher. Going above $10 wouldn't be hard at all. But if we take a look at it on a little bit shorter time frame, and I think that's what you were asking today to see is whether there'll be some profit taking. And the way I do that is I just go down to the hourly chart. This happens to be, I think it's the hour. No, it's a half hour because I could get more data in. You'll be able to see here, we made the 382 retracement, came in at 0.42 back here on the 8th, and then we had the big move up here. It's been as high as 988 today, or a pre-market, and I think the high, if we do get any spike up, which we certainly can without any trouble, will be somewhere between $9.96 and $10. I don't chase markets like this, and of course, report days, it's almost like looking at the non-farm payrolls when you're doing soybeans. So the number I'm looking at, let's just round it off to $10. That's another 17 cents from where we are right now. I hope that helps. But remember, it's a swag. Remember that, Mr. Z. It's a swag, and that means sophisticated guess, as you know. We've been asked to take a look at a stock on cannabis, and let's just take a look at this. This is a T. Get this up here. I don't know what it's called, but the question is, it's TLRY. It's a cannabis stock, and there's a couple of really good lessons here. Look at the far left where that red box is. That's where it was the initial price offering. It opened up and then pulled back to a 78% level. You can see that little black line. I followed this stock. This has been in my list here for a year and a half. And we got all the way up to $300. Of course, we gave the signal to go short at 289.5 with a 5-point stop. That was a little joke, folks. The importance here is look at the red 382 retracement there at $180, folks. That's when it gave up the ship. And we've been going down, down, down. If you look at the far right over there, you can see it's trading at 563. So what we're going to do now is look at it as we speak here this morning at 563. You'll be able to see. I'm not recommending this. I'm just reporting on it. It looks like there's going to be some support at around 440. And, of course, the old low way back there in March was at 240. And then it quadrupled in price, going all the way up to $11. So there's a lot of speculation in there. And that's all I know, and that's all I can report. I don't trade it. I don't use it. So that's all I can tell you. It's one thing after another. So just keep that in mind, boys and girls. We'll see what transpires as we go through some of these other charts that we need to look at this morning. Okay, here's the big one. This is the one that I'm probably going to get more flack on than when Hector was a pup. Folks, when Gartley wrote that book, on page 221 and 222, he said, buy the first ABCD correction in a bull market. And this is actually the second ABCD correction. The first one came in at the not quite the 382 retracement. It came in at 0.36. That was back on August the 11th, and you can see we went up and made that objective, and we're making our second ABCD pattern, a larger one. It's taken actually 2.5 weeks to complete this. The number was at 230. We got down to 227 and change today. We're risking 6 cents on that. Our stop is at 2.25. Actually, it's less than 6 cents. It's $450, 2.255. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't, but this is mother, God, and country, boys and girls. You got a double ABCD. You got a 382. You can't ask for anything more than this. It looks very bullish. But again, this might be a 3 drive to a top pattern that occurred all during August. That could be a major topping pattern. And if that's the case, this is going to it's going to break, and you're not going to be able to make any money on it. So make sure you use a stop on it. Right now, it's I think it's last time I saw it, it was underwater a little bit, but yeah, it's right here, right where we bought it. It's at 230 right now, and we'll see if it's going to work. Who knows? We'll do one thing at a time, but it's a valid pattern. There's no question about it. It's got all the things that you can ask for when you're watching some of these things. So we need to pay attention to the stop protection, because sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and that's the key to using these things. Duffy's asking, is weed legal in Arizona? Duffy, believe it or not, I don't know. I'm not in that. I know that I know that preparation H is, but I don't know about the cannabis. The other stuff, I'm not really sure. I don't take that stuff, and I'm not even. They do have shops. Yes, I think they do. I've seen these shops around. So I've seen the CBD or something like that. Yeah. Okay, we'll see what's going on. Well, anyway, that's what I'm looking at here with this NASDAQ or natural gas. It should start to go now. Someone else sent a really interesting chart, and I don't know if it means anything or not, folks, but you see these all over the internet, and I don't know what that means, Terry, so I really don't know. I don't know the difference between the cannabis and the bananas and whatever they're using, banana peels. This is a stock chart of the Dow between then and now of 1929. I don't know if you can make any headway out of this. I don't think it's tradable. I really don't. So I just bring it to your attention because you're going to see a lot of these on the internet because there's so much stuff out there. You don't know what is good. One of the questions people ask me is, when will a crash happen? Folks, the way a crash happens is the market starts to move down more than 3 standard deviations from the mean. And we're at 2 standard deviations in the NASDAQ as we come in here on Friday. We are down 9.7%, and that is 2 standard deviations down from the high. One more standard deviation, and it's big trouble. And the reason for that is these guys that are in the big option market, with many times bigger than the futures market, they have to start protecting themselves, and that's when the bell's going to ring, and then you'll be able to see it. Now, one of the things that we that I really strongly believe in, and I think it's nothing more than just common sense. And that's what happened. What we talked about yesterday, and that was the fact that the NASDAQ went exactly, to the exactly 382 yesterday at 11,540. That was it. And then it started to go down, and it broke, and it went down quite a bit. So it has to go down more than 3 standard deviations, and then there's a possibility. If you build your trading plan about a crash, it's easier for you to send your checks directly into the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, so you don't have to pay a commission, because the number and you might not even get to crash. You could be asleep when the crash is happening. So don't trade that way. We'll be right back with Stan Harley, folks.
Larry Pesavento watches the markets 24/7, and now is a great time to try out his daily trading service, Fibonacci 24/7. Larry publishes videos and charts for subscribers throughout the week when warranted, and every weekend he puts out a thorough report covering worldwide markets, futures, commodities, and currencies with Fibonacci retracement levels, possible trading setups and zones, and stops and targets for all recommendations included. Larry applies the principles he's developed over decades of trading while analyzing a variety of markets for subscribers. To see for yourself the types of videos, charts, and analysis that Larry provides for his subscribers, sign up for Fibonacci 24/7 today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. You'll also gain instant access to Larry's archived subscriber webinar from earlier this year. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today. If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today. TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Chart. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Stan Harley on the line of the Harley Stock Market Letter. Stan, are you there?
Good morning, Larry. How are you doing?
Good morning. We got 2 firing questions right off the bat. One is there any significance to the 9.7% drop in the NASDAQ over the past 8 days?
Yes, I think so. I think I think what we saw back on the 2nd of September was what I call a trading cycle high. And these tend to come along on average about every 40 trading days, plus or minus. And we are consolidating right now. And I think we've got a little bit more in terms of time to complete before the consolidation is complete. I think it's probably going to happen next week. And then I think we'll be set up and poised to turn higher.
Okay, that's fair enough. And the second question is, do you have any vivid memories of 9/11 from 19 years ago, Stan?
Oh, wow, Larry. I do. I was living in Southern California at the time. And I got up on the West Coast about 10 minutes to 6, flipped on CNBC and saw the one tower had already been hit. And I remember Mark Haynes was saying, geez, a small airplane ran into one of the Trade Center towers. I went down, got my coffee, came back up, and within minutes I saw this object come across the screen live on CNBC and hit the other tower. And I'll tell you, I spilled coffee all over the floor. I mean, at that point, I knew, my gosh. And then I looked over at my screen, and the S&P futures just went ka-wham to the downside. It was terrible. It was quite a horrible event for the entire country.
I remember seeing the S&P futures break, and I was already short, and I could have added there, and I was so in such shock that I literally couldn't pick up the mouse to click, and I'm glad I didn't. But that was another memory that I have. Why don't you go and show us what you're looking at today, Stan? I've got the Dow Jones Industrial Average chart up, so you want to tell the folks what you're watching here?
Yes, so Larry, this is a chart of the Dow through yesterday's close, and you and I have talked about this on the air in the past. I track what I call the 5 major indices. I call them the Big 5. For me, the Big 5 are the Dow Industrials, the Dow Transports, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ Composite, and the New York Composite. And I want to see all 5 of those either confirming the move underway or not. And if it's not, then the divergences should be telling us something, either at highs or lows. And we can see here the Dow topped out in February, on February the 19th. It has not yet, unlike the NAS and the S&P, gone to a new high. It came very, very close. We're backing off right now. We're undergoing what I call a trading cycle decline. And it's kind of a chop shop. It was sharply down a couple of days ago. I think we have a little bit more to go in terms of time. I think by the early part of next week, though, I think we'll stabilize here, regain some traction, and start pushing higher once again.
So now, as I recall, when you were on a couple of weeks ago, you gave us a beautiful chart with a bunch of Fibonacci numbers that said sometime around the October timeframe you were looking for a major high. Is that correct?
That's correct, and I'm still sticking to that premise. A couple of weeks ago when we were on the air, I showed a chart. Well, I showed several charts. One of them going 1600s. Another one from the 1932 bottom, and every single high of significance from the 1932 bottom has been a major Fibonacci number. And the number 89 is due ideally 2021.
Okay, but we're not too far away from that on that larger chart. I saved those charts because they were so interesting to me, and I reposted them. We have a question about where do you think the SPX goes after the trading cycle bottoms next week? Will we make new highs, do you think?
I do think so. In fact, if we can, let's go to the next chart, Larry, and I do have the chart.
You bet. Okay, not a problem. We can do that. And one second, all I got to do is get the little clicker on here, and there we go. Go ahead.
That was from 2 weeks ago. Okay. Well, anyway, what I have is maybe you can go to the next one, Larry.
This is a New York Stock Exchange index chart? No,
this is the Dow Industrials from the 1932 bottom. This is what I showed a couple of weeks ago. But I can talk about this as well, as long as you've got it up there. As we can see, every single high of the last 89 years has been a major Fibonacci number. Okay, this is the chart that I sent you about an hour ago. This is the S&P 500 cash index, current through the close last night. What I've done here with the blue lines and red lines, the blue lines indicate what I call trading cycle highs. We had one on April 29th, we had one on June the 8th, and then we had one most recently on September 2nd. And then the red vertical lines mark what I call the trading cycle lows. So that's the low that comes after the high. Interestingly, following the April 29th high and the June 8th high, the structure going into the subsequent trading cycle low was an ABC. It wasn't straight down. And how this one is going to play out in the current time frame, I don't know. But I'm looking for and I put a red line there early next week. My indicators that track price velocity are still coming downhill, so we're not there yet. We have another day or two or possibly 3 before this thing is done. But then I think we turn the corner, Larry, and we power higher into the end of October, just ahead of the election. That's where I see the next primary cycle high, and that might very well coincide with the 89-year cycle top that I talked about previously.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, Stan, we have a question for one of our listeners, and that is, when we do our talking, you never mention Elliott wave of any sort. Are you an Elliott technician, or what is your feeling on Elliott wave?
Larry, I'm not a big Elliott wave kind of guy. There are a few people out there, I know them, you know them, that are good Elliott wave practitioners. It's never really fit my style of analysis and trading, so I'm more of a cycles guy and Fibonacci guy, as you know, and slap on a few indicators, and that's kind of what comprises my toolbox.
Okay, the next one is this New York Stock Exchange Index. It failed to make a new high. Is that significant?
Yeah, this one is a bit problematic, Larry. This is one of the key components among what I call the Big Five, and New York Composite Index is the broadest measure of stock market activity. It takes into account every single stock traded on the New York Stock Exchange. And this, not only is it not gone to a new high, I don't see it going to a new high by the time we get to the election time period. And it's trading below the 15-day moving average. And I think we could have a little bit more weakness over the next couple of days. But my guess, my best guess is this is the one index that does not go to a new high come election day. And that's the divergence that ultimately defines the top.
Okay, we have another question for one of our listeners. Do you ever follow the Russell 2000 index?
I do look at the Russell. Absolutely, I do. And so if I could change my Big Five into the Big Six, the sixth component would be the Russell 2000. That's a small cap index. The IWM is a very good tracking ETF for that index, by the way.
How about the Russell or the Wilshire 5000? Do you ever look at that?
I have, but I have not done the detailed analysis.
Okay, not a problem. Let's stay with us for a couple more questions, if you would, Stan. Thank you so much. We'll be right back with Stan Harley of the Harley Stock Market Letter.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The gold report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The gold report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the gold report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the gold report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Bull Bear Trading Hour with Tom and Tommy O'Brien. Next.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we've got a question. Said 3 months ago, you showed a 1929 to 2020 analog and forecast that the SPX would top in August and then dive. Is that still relevant?
I did show that a few months ago, and the answer is no. No, I don't think that analog is appropriate right now. Yeah.
Okay, so even though we had a pretty big break since September 2nd, that's only 2 days off from August. That's pretty darn good, Stan.
Well, okay, but yes, I back then, several months ago, I had thought that the high was in, and what was ongoing was a counter-trend rally that would parallel the structure that we saw in 1929. But I no longer am subscribing to that theory.
Okay.
I think we're going to poke our heads higher here, and I think we're probably going to get 4 out of the 5 components of the Big Five make new all-time highs here, and I think that's coming here within 6 weeks.
Well, fair enough. Okay, 3 questions, very quick. Bang, bang, bang. What books would you recommend to start for cycles?
Oh, that's a good question. That's a
probably
good
Hearst's
question.
book, right? Profit Magic of Stock Transaction Timing?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for jogging my memory. Yeah, I would say that tops the list. That book is hard to find, but that was a groundbreaking book when he wrote it in 1968, and it's still very good today, although the techniques are a little bit obsolete by today's standards, but Hearst did a phenomenal job. I have that book on my shelf. I also am a big fan of Walter Brezert and his work. He wrote a book in 1991 that dealt with tracking cycles and indicators. Dewey wrote a book on cycles. I also have that one. All 3 of these books are a little older. They're 30 years or to 50 years old, so they're kind of hard to find, but very good nonetheless. In the modern era, Larry, I don't think I've really seen any good books that get into cycles.
I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you, Stan.
Cycles analysis. Too many people think cycles are a fixed beat oscillator. So if you got a 40-day cycle, the low must come every 40 days. And Larry, that's not how it works in the real world. Cycles, they're interesting animals. They contract, they expand. Sometimes they skip a beat and then only to later recur. So there's a lot of nuances. It's not an easy tool to use. It takes a few mistakes along the way and a few gray hairs to understand how to master it. You probably understand that like I do. But a lot of young folks coming in.
I wish I had gray hair. Hey, Stan, what do you do when you enter, Stan? What's your entry point when you're looking at these cycles? When do you say, okay, this is my buy signal? Is it a change in the daily chart, or what is it that you use for your entry? And second question to this is, how much of a stop loss do you use when you place a trade? Do you can you answer those with a relative degree of
accuracy? I think, Larry, to be successful in this biz, you and I, everyone, we have to master three sets of skills. One is what I call asset allocation. Where do you buy? Where do you deploy your capital? What vehicle do you put your money into? The second is market timing, very, very critical. And thirdly is what I call risk or money management. So if I'm looking for a low, for example, I like to leg into a position. And that doesn't matter whether you're talking about mutual funds, stocks, futures, options, whatever. I am a strong advocate of legging into a position because more often than not, I think you're going to find you're early. And if you're in up to your eyeballs from the get-go, you're not going to have any more bullets to use as the bottoming process or topping process evolves. So that is just critical. Got to leg into positions. And I use a whole basket of indicators across multiple time frames that assist me in deciding to whether the market is bottoming here or topping here.
Okay, that's good enough. Listen, I know you're very busy today, but I want to thank you for joining us, and we'll have you on probably beginning of the month when October comes, because I know the folks are going to be pounding on the door to find out what you're doing. So thank you for joining us today, and be safe out there, and be sure you continue to your social distancing and wear your mask. Whether it means anything or not, I guess we got to take some social responsibility here. So be safe, my friend, and thanks again for being on, Stan.
Absolutely. Thank you, Larry. My pleasure.
You bet. Stan Harley, folks, in the Harley Stock Market Letter. Okay, we'll move on here, and we'll talk about a couple little things that I think we need to take care of. One of them here is the euro. Oh, dear, what happened to it? I lost it already. That's not good. Let's just move on, and I lost my Apple chart, too. This is not good, Larry. This is not good. Okay, I'll bring up this one other thing today. Oh, I have to do this because this is important. Get this up here. It's going to be a little late getting here, folks, but this is an article, the headline of an article, The Retrograde Motion of Mars 2020, and I am going to post a link into the room here today, the Tiger Den, so you'll be able to see this, and you'll be able to, hopefully, I know I'm going to be able to find it. I hope I am. I certainly am. Oh, yes, here it is. I've got it right here, so bear with me here 1 second. And I'll put this into the thing here, and you'll be able to see it. And if you're interested in this kind of stuff, it'll be in the room right now. The Tiger. Oh, why didn't it go in there? Let me see. Control V. Why didn't that go in? Shut the front door. Oh dear, something happened. Ah, there it is. Okay, so that's if you have an interest in the, and that's a cycle. You know, that Mars retrograde is a cycle, and you know, I didn't want to bring that stuff up with Stan because he doesn't use any astrology, and we need somebody like Bill Meridian and Arch Crawford and Shane Smolian to come in here, and Norman Winsky to tell us about some of these things because they know more about that stuff than I do. I basically look at little lines on the charts and try to determine whether to buy or sell. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's usually better to see what's going on. Okay. This interesting thing, people are still chatting about 9/11, so that's quite a bit here. Somebody said here that Rudy Giuliani ripped up a check from Saudi Arabia stating that the Saudis are not our friends. I don't remember some of that stuff, but I just remember how the sadness gripped the United States for those 8 days, folks. I could just and then I have to tell you one other thing. For the money show that happened in February of 2009-12, I was there, and several of my students are fire chiefs in New York, and they took me down into the area to see it, and they were going to take me right down to ground zero. And folks, I couldn't get closer than a block away when you smell that airline fluid and the rubber and stuff. Oh my God! I mean, I was just overwhelmed. I had to get out of there. I mean, I was upchucking like I couldn't believe. And man, it was really, really scary. I remember that Chief Jimmy took me down there, and that was about as far as I could get. It was within about a block. And I said, no. I said, I can't do this anymore. I had to go back, and, it was not very, very much fun, but it was really sad. Anyway, there'll probably be something else coming in the future that's going to be whatever. Hell, this COVID-19 is the same type of situation. But, a lot of people have died. We've lost about 190,000 people out of 383 million. So, that's a significant amount. So we're going to take a little break here. 877-927-6648.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and just as a reminder, keep in mind, folks, that one of the things that's most important this coming week is to go to Basil's show on Wednesday. He's got a full-day show. You get all 7 of the webinars. It's the best thing you can do for yourself as a Christmas present, Thanksgiving, or whatever you want to call it. It's very important. And also, we need to remind ourselves that we should be thankful that we made it through 9/11 and feel sorry for the people that didn't. And hopefully we'll never get through that again, but unfortunately history says we probably will. Someone's asked me a question of where do I think the stocks are going to go. I think we're going to go lower because the fact that we've not broken above that 382 retracement in the NASDAQ at 11,540. That was what we hit yesterday exactly within, I think the high was 3 points away out of 11,500. So you've got to really respect that. The same thing at the S&P at the level of 3409, even though we did take it out a little bit the day before. But those are started to move lower. Apple's not moving very much, but remember we got earnings coming up for Apple pretty soon, and that's a cult, so that'll push that stock up. I think the odds are like 80% after the earnings come out, good or bad, the stock rallies. So that's something to pay close attention to. So those are just a few of the things that we're watching here today. But the main thing is the fact that we have this anniversary date of 9/11, which is it's amazing when I started thinking about it. It was really, really amazing. I had so much respect for my friend Arch Crawford because he was right on top of this. And I don't know where he got the information, but he was 15 minutes ahead of CNN and knew pretty much all the time what was going on. I don't know where he got his information, but it was pretty exciting. So those of you that are in the natural gas trade at 230, we're trading at 228.40 now, so it's about $1.70. Make sure you have your stop at 225. You don't have to risk more than $500 on this. If we're wrong, we'll look at it again. 877-927-6648.